Howdy everyone. So I know first things first, um, in terms of, I guess, musical translation, I think there is incredible speed, so of course people definitely need to catch up. So I will definitely encourage whatever types of catching up that needs to be done. Um, it's very, very interesting. It's very interesting, when I went to, anyway, I'm not going to talk about the beach yet, but when I went to the beach, it was just very interesting moving from the shore all the way to, the strand part, where there's, the two-way, sort of, concrete strip. Anyway, that was kind of the place where I put my shoes on. I thought that was a really cool thing, where I telepathically said, I'm going to do the exact same thing, so, it's going to be really awesome, guys. But yet, I still seem very far. Anyway, this morning, I was talking about, psychic abilities. My psychic abilities just seem to be absolutely pertinent, and not pertinent. They just seem to be absolutely, increased. As soon as and it's a different form of psychic ability, I guess, in terms of, how I actually listen, and then I just kind of awaken my psychic senses, so I find that very interesting to me. And then I was talking about Kuan Yin, how, in terms of, which is completely new thinking, and it's interesting, just the way I think about it, I'm probably going to have to, I was just thinking in my head, I'm going to probably break up this into 3 broadcasts, or 4 broadcasts, the next 3 days, or something, because I just listened to a little bit of it, and I can, always can, and I can, and I will, and I have. What I mean by when I say which is not true, but when I say that I'm unable to upload a broadcast, I say that because the broadcast that I had at 10:44 this morning was not able to be uploaded. And same thing with a song that I composed, it was not able to be uploaded, which is very strange. But at the same time, there's more consciousness that's zooming in and out of this technology, for example, so I understand that this is a spiritual technology that I'm using. So, yay, whoop-de-doo. So Kuan Yin. So, I was just talking about Kuan Yin, how, my presence, I said something wouldn't I have to be stronger than her? And isn't everything that I'm doing the perfect explanation of how I actually am way more powerful than her? And, I said some things like that. And then, I have a lot of friends, and, if I were to try to convince my friends or something, of the truth, and obviously to let go of the past having to do with the Cabal, which is a very weird thing to combine in some sort of spiritual fashion. That's actually kind of funny. Wow. That's actually really funny. Anyway. But anyway, yeah, my friends, yeah, they would connect with Kuan Yin. And I feel like if that's the type of divine experience that they want, then that's the type of divine experience that they can have. And I respect that, and it's amazing. Text message responsibility. I'm just reading the notes that I wrote from the morning broadcast. Text message. I'm not exactly. Oh, every text message it sends 24, because it's 24 years. 24 years. I think that's the basis of yesterday and the day before. Actually, I'm not exactly sure which day it was. But anyway, for 24 years, I take responsibility for every text message that I've ever had. Pretty much, because why not? Why not take responsibility for action? And why not take accountability for action? Snap, actually. Sorry, I was supposed to go up there. First thing I meant to mention is, well, not that it really matters now, but the lies of the Cabal, and the lies of evil people, and lies in general. There's no need to listen to lies, and there's no need to fulfill and travel in the concept of lies, which is why I brought up the Kuan Yin concept, which is kind of a weird thing. The QIC, the Kuan Yin concept. But yeah, I was just I mean, like, there's nothing I can do to convince them of the lies that they've already indoctrinated themselves in. So I'd have to understand that I'd have to trust the divineness of the divine being who I'm more powerful than, not only because, which is a weird thing to explain, but that I'm more powerful than, and why I connect with my friends to Kuan Yin, and why I think that's a responsible thing. And, the thing is, like, I'm so powerful is that, there's nothing I can say, is what I believed this morning, which probably isn't true. But there's nothing I could say that can convince my friends, for example, or like some of my best friends, that they would ever, 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 ever exist in a world that doesn't have the type of lies and the foundation that the cabal wants to provide for them, instead of the foundation of freedom that they should be provided on a free will planet. But I'm not going to get into that. Refusal to be that... Oh, yeah, I was like, I refuse to be that powerful. And then I think around this point is when I was talking about the Joker. 14 hours. Somewhere at 9 to 10, or 10 o'clock or something like that. I think it was 10 o'clock. I was like, I was listening, and there's no way that I can't... Like, collective consciousness is a real thing. And no matter what happens, I continue to connect with collective consciousness. I mean, it's literally... Actually, impossible is not the right word. But it's literally impossible to ignore the collective consciousness. Anyway, and it's actually more impossible to hear the collective consciousness, because I think I'm just in some sort of sound bubble all the way deep within this city. Or this townhome sort of thing. Or whatever it's called. Anyway. Joker, like, I can tell that there's consciousnesses that have watched the movie Joker, and I was just like, dude, like, I can't even go anywhere without my psychic abilities getting stronger and stronger. Patience is an important thing. That's another thing I think I was talking about. Very telepathic. My telepathic abilities are getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And stronger and stronger and stronger. It's insanely powerful. And I was really, really adamant, because I was like, what am I advertising? Like, what am I, like, advertising sort of thing? Like, what advertisements am I creating? Is that fair to say? Sort of thing? Like, is it fair to say that I'm advertising? Or that I'm not advertising? Or that I'm involved in advertisement for some reason? And then, like, this thing that, actually... doesn't really matter, but I made a clear point to, like, well, either way it was a bench. I had to sit on the bench, but I made a clear point to the freaking advertisement, which is very bizarre. Anyway, I refuse to be that famous. That's the whole point in terms of advertisement. I refuse to be that famous. Cycles. Like, it's all about cycles. Like, I see the cycles so much, and that's what white magic, or that's what Mother Earth is anyway. That's what Gaia is. It's just cycles. It's just continuous cycles after cycle after cycle, different cycles of nature, cycles of seasons. And that's what, what's the name was talking about? Dude, I sound so freaking, close and comfy now with all these archangels and extraterrestrials, but I'm not going to get there yet. It had to be done. Yeah, I absolutely think that it had to be done. And I admit that it had to be done. Cracker tweet, dude, I thought it was freaking hilarious, dude. I thought that was freaking hilarious. I'll probably go over the next part of the broadcast tomorrow. I think that's just like the first 15 minutes or something. I'll listen to it again too, just so I can have it refreshed in my mind. So that's the amazing thing about me. Super cool. It's like I can study myself, it seems like. Anyway, so now for the evening broadcast, starting now. The connections, yeah, I pretty much already mentioned it, because there's no way that anybody can be present on Earth without not being in tune with the collective consciousness. That's just a fancy way of saying that we're fifth dimensional. Anyway, what was I going to say? um, there's just really wonderful, creative, beautiful relationships between. Oh goodness gracious! I think I just started to comprehend that I'm actually able to go so fast that I don't know, that I'm going faster than the speed of light or something. But I actually do know. I am powerful. I must remember that. But yeah, like it's ridiculous speed. It's insane speed, and I call it insane speed. Like, think about like different levels of a profession. Think about different levels of excellence. Like, there's good, there's great, there's the best, and then there's the best of the best, and then there's crazy, and then there's insane. And then insane is just literally just it's just literally insane. It's so amazing. Anyway, I don't really want to talk about my work ethic. Yeah, I don't really want to talk about my work ethic yet. It's not all about me, obviously. The amazing connections that exist between Ashdar and Mira and Kara and what's his name? The Arcturians and the Palladians. It's an amazing connection that's already been in existence. And I'm not saying that, I'm not downplaying it, and I'm not upplaying it either. I'm just saying that those are the energies, and that I kind of called in yesterday, because I was all about energy yesterday. And I was just like, oh, well, these are all energies, I might as well feel these energies. But it's things are really different, because I have a spiritual technology now, which is a very amazing form of ascension thing, and I'm glad I have it, which is really cool. I'm very fortunate to have it. I am the ground crew, and technically, in terms of it doesn't matter. The fifth dimension, I live in the fifth dimension, so I am the ground crew of the fifth dimension. I'm the fifth dimensional ground crew, the fifth dimensional light body, all that jazz, on a fifth dimensional planet. This is obviously a fifth dimensional planet, or it's the super extreme planet that I created. That's a part of creation, all that jazz. I don't know why I keep saying all that jazz. Probably some type of weird quirk that I keep saying. Anyway, what else was mentioned? Just the mentioning of seasons and stuff that Archangel Raphael was mentioning in terms of the intonation with seasons. That's very what a pun, intonation. The I don't really mean to say intonation. I mean to say connection with the seasons. That's definitely something that's prevalent today, or prevalent for me today. Just in terms of, this morning I was learning and studying white magic, and I, of course, the more I read about it, the more I realized that all those, I already know everything about it, all those abilities, and all those charms sort of things. Not that it's specifically about the charms, but more specifically about the knowledge of plants. Oops, I gotta get speaking of plants, anyway, the knowledge of plants and herbs and stuff, that's an important part of white magic. And what's it called? Knowing the season, knowing nature, I think, in my own opinion, is a huge part of white magic. And white magic is a really cool thing, from what was explained about it, from what I researched, which is different than what I actually believe. But what was I gonna say? Oh, white magic is kind of the thing. I read it in several places. I've read several things about white magic. According to the 9 freedoms, it's very, 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 very few people actually engaged in white magic. And because, according to what I've read, most beings, all human beings, pretty much, they said, and very few engage in white magic, but some beings, or most beings on Earth, pretty much all beings on Earth, use gray magic, which is a blend of the two. And so, in my mind, I'm obviously thinking I want the most positive reality. So everyone already mastered white magic. Therefore, I can utilize my white magic a lot more effectively to my fullest abilities. And then I can incarnate and manifest white magic as strongly as I want. And then That's exactly what I did and demonstrated, which is a very weird scale in terms of the unique sort of representation that's provided by the first sort of journey and adventure I went on, which I'm not going to go into details about. There'd be no point in doing that. Arcturians, it's very, very interesting. Like, I'm not judging, but it's obviously not dimensional. It's obviously not dimensional. Like, I'm not, like, putting them on the spot either, but, like, yeah. I think it's kind of obvious of, like, who they are, because they're kind of known. I mean, they're well known in the galaxy for having from what I read, they're known for their technology and for their advanced technology and stuff like that. Syrians, they're very loving lion race. I'm not judging, of course, not judging the Syrian race, but of course, same thing there. Very beautiful, very loving. They serve the mother, and they're really also very strong warriors too, and they're 6-dimensional, which is great. Of course, shout out to the Sphere Being Alliance. Sphere Being Alliance is really awesome. And shout out to Corey Good for doing amazing things and informing. Way back when, too. Like, I was informed back in 2017, 2018, 2016 even, I think, for the things that Corey Good was doing. So that's really cool, That's when I first opened up to the idea, not that it really matters, but that's when I first opened up to the idea that it's possible to, like, what was most shocking to me is that, not that you can travel to Mars, but that there's trade. There's a trade outpost on Mars, and, this is like a gas station, for different galaxies, because we're near the edge of the galaxy. And other galaxies just come in and trade with us, and they have ancient ships, hundreds of years old and thousands of years old, and they just don't, they don't break, and, we just make a bunch of, isn't that interesting? We just make a bunch of spaceships, like, we make the best spaceships, like, out there, and we just make them, and make them, and make them, and, that's not Mars. It's really weird. I don't really care about that. I don't really want to talk about that. It's not that interesting to me anymore, but at that time, it was incredibly shocking, but I was able to handle anything else that would be, like, super bizarre in my life, because, like, I didn't think that many things could impress me as much as something like that. And not many things impressed me as much as discovering that Corey Good went to Mars and pretty much explained his story about going there, and then he, traveled back to Earth, and then also his story about when he went to Venus, and then all that stuff, and it's amazing, very, very amazing. Anyway, I say anyway a lot. That's very strange. Anyway, the music of, what I'm just going to call the music of, but the music of, might as well just read it. Mary Magdalene. In terms of service, I'm going to read about that, actually. Oh, that's right. My Gmail's not working for some reason. There we go. Oh, there's some news. Nah, that's ridiculous. It's just, a lot of it's repeating what I've already said. Blah, blah, blah. And a lot of everything that's financial, it's like, it's what I already know. But I'm not going to lie, like Zimbabwe, that's very good news. But I totally digressed. I call it the music of, because I don't, Actually, I do understand. I almost said I don't understand, but I do understand. Hold on. Because I keep thinking about Mother Mary more than I think about Mary Magdalene, which is very strange. But anyway, yeah, I see this, which is kind of weird, but also full embodied, or full embodied, but fully pictured, like, and understood, that, like, it's possible to understand the sort of celebratory nature. I'm not even sure if it's a celebratory nature, but anyway, at first perspective, like, first of all, I'm probably just going to really quickly reread this. Speed of light. Oh, right. This is what is very interesting, because it's not the fact that this sort of perspective and this sort of high vibrational reality is something that we're not aware of and not in tune with. It's something that's kind of always been. So it's not something that's new to me. So it's not really that shocking, because I'm not saying that it's not telepathic, but I'm not saying that it isn't telepathic, you know? Like, what I find amazing, which is, because I don't guess. Anyway, I keep saying that. That's another phrase I say. I say anyway a lot, and then I say I guess a lot. And for some reason, I almost always say the C word, but I'm not going to get into the C word. I usually say can't a lot. And the truth is I can. I always can. And that's just some weird habit. Those are my 3 habits. I say can't for some reason, which I know I can. And I say anyway, which is kind of obvious because we're creator beings and any way and any path is already open to us. And I say I guess a lot just because it's just a filler word. It's like saying like. The word like is also a filler word, but I don't even have to explain the definition. But anyway, music. So I think music is a very good way to sort of be in tune with that vibration. And the thing is, like, I say that because I feel like that awareness has always been there. Because, otherwise the other option would be, ridiculous. Think about it. Either the high vibration is always there, or, as soon as I stop playing music, as soon as music all stops, then that high vibration is no longer there, which isn't true. Because it's pretty much, like, which is interesting, because I knew this was inside me, like, I believe, or I, like, knew this telepathically and just kind of experienced this today, though, I'm not gonna lie. It was only today when I found out about, like, super fast speeds and stuff like that. But, like, I found out I can move forward in terms of, like, how I can progress in, like, this is such a weird way to say it, but how I can progress in speed. Like, I don't use speed to, like, progress, but I find it a very interesting sort of way of life, because, for example, when I was on the beach, I could just, like, stand up and then walk, but my pace of walking isn't even a full sprint, like, in terms of, like, what the actual speed I'm going is at. It's not even at the speed of sound, It's literally so fast that it's, like, I normally would say dream speed before, because, I would normally say dream legs, but that's actually not what it is at all. Like, I was just going so fast that, yeah, I do think that the speed of light is a very good explanation of like the speed that I travel at when I walk. Because and not that I need to explain it, but there's really amazing, interesting. There's very amazing, interesting, intricate things that happen in terms of the amazing elegance that occurs when I perform music, and for example, when I play the flute. And it's kind of like a weird example, but it's a good example. First of all, I have my own music, which is already amazing. Second of all, like, I have a huge love for music in general, and I can create and improvise music in general. And I incorporate like a level of language, which is kind of what happens anyway, but a level of language with the music, which is, I think, something that's never been done before, but I don't know, because I'm the only one who knows. But anyway, well, I think I'm the only one who knows, which is why it's so important that I explain what that music means, or what I think the music means, or what the musical perception might mean, which is a whole part of, anyway, I'm not going to get into that yet, but perception is a really cool thing, and obviously everybody lives in high vibrations, and it's all really awesome, blah, 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 blah. Pathways, ways, that's why I say anyway, journeys and stuff like that. So, I haven't finished reading all this, actually. Oh, actually, yes, I have. Ah, yes. Grace. Grace is a real thing. Oh, that was yesterday's teaching. It's not a real teaching. I'm not sure if anybody's listening and understanding at that level of like everything's a teaching, and first of all, not that it's because Archangel Michael says that we are co-creators and creators, that we need to be creators. We're creators because we are creators. And anyway, the law of grace. That's an actual law. That's a very, very cool law. And I believe, and it may not be true, but I believe there's new laws that are now in place that are like laws in the higher dimensions that will assist us in creating, which is so awesome. It's insanely awesome, dude. And like, the law of grace is a really amazing law. It is a very powerful, and it's like as soon as I like was informed about that, like, oh, that's an amazing field for me to create and to connect with, not only all those rays, the 12 rays, all 12 of those rays, but also with my 13th ray, and of course the 14th ray and 15th ray. And I'm not saying that the 15th ray all the way up to the 30th ray are my rays, but I'm not saying that the 15th ray all the way up to the 30th ray aren't my rays, sort of thing. And that's a cool thing that I can discover with creation, because I know for certain the 13th ray is my ray. However, I also know that in terms of creating, I can create with the 14th ray and the 15th ray, and et cetera, et cetera. And that's kind of what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be creating, and that's the whole energy of creation in any way. So, anyway, I'm gonna keep reading. Blah 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 blah. Awesomeness. Union. I'm not sure if I read this. Grace, Elohim. Energy. It's very beautiful vibration. I'm not even sure if I need to explain. Like, first of all, like what I'm going to do anyway is have my own perspective and provide my own perspective, and I'm trying to be as open-minded as possible, which can only be done with the openness that is provided in terms of like knowing that nothing's the same, and everything that I say and everything that comes out my mouth, nothing's the same. And I already know that. I've known that for days. But the Elohim, like I know their energy. I know it's energy, like the grace Elohim. Let me say this. I perceive it as energy, but of course they're actually living beings. The Elohim are energy beings living like original beings, and that's super amazing. Super amazing. What I've been doing for a long time that I don't even realize is that I've actually been speaking in terms of like musical translation, and I didn't realize how amazing that was until I went to what's it called? It's not a real place. I mean, which is so funny to say, but Oh my gosh, that's so much fun. But it's not because it's not a place in time and space or any location or anything like that. But I discovered it when I went to I don't even know what it's called, but when I went to go eat ramen, and I was like, well, let's just put it in this perspective. I was amazed, which is not really amazing, and it's something that I just want to figure out for myself, which is kind of what I figured out for myself. But I wanted to know, like, how intently, for example, Pacific Crest is into making music, or making sound, or like if I was perceived as a musician or as a composer or as a director, sort of thing. And I said, like, I would love to audition and then join completely based on merit, and that's kind of what I said out loud, because like I thought it was that cool to me. Yeah, I thought it was that cool to me. And that was like 1 or 2 days, or maybe 3 days right after I got the email, and I was trying to like incorporate. It was a huge jump, and it requires a lot of bravery, and it's a weird thing that I'm talking about it. But anyway, I was trying to incarnate some sort of consciousness of understanding of what is within me into existence through through the elegance of music and the grace of music and all that stuff, and we're all allowed to be using these amazing. Actually, you know what? I should probably just read it, but we're all allowed to be in tune with and using the high vibrations of the law of grace, etc., etc. Oh yeah. I already read that. Oh my gosh, this is new. This morning. Oh, I didn't read this. This morning, right after the broadcast that I didn't upload, but is uploaded because of spiritual technology. I have spiritual technology now, so I can I can utilize spiritual technology. Whatever music is, it's just music. Ooh, I forgot I got emails from the Ethereal Society. Why did I say that out loud, dude? Anyway, let me read this really quickly. Yep, it is the most potent instrument of action. Interesting. Yeah, so that's what's super amazing, is that I'm like, that's kind of like what I'm super happy about, and what I've been so freaking busy about today. I actually didn't get to utilize the normal forms. This is going to sound crazy, but I didn't get to utilize actually, there's no such thing as didn't. That's another word that doesn't exist. I can do anything, and I did. And I did create it. I don't know why I explain things like that. Anyway, I can do anything. 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 I can do absolutely anything. I can do anything. I can do absolutely anything. But anyway, what's so exciting about the action of creation, and then sort of like the form of creation and understanding the creation of like what exists within me, and the new rays, is the sort of joy of the new rays, and that's kind of what like he recognizes, which is super exciting to me. That's really good news. Which is Oh, super exciting, dude. Powerful new ways of an individualized expression from the Supreme Creator. Oh, yeah, World Pyramid of Light. Oh, gosh, dude. Definitely encourage going into the World Pyramid of Light. But I want to talk about specifically what I'm actually super excited about. Law of ease. The law of ease and grace applies always. That is so cool, dude. That is so cool to me. That is so exciting. That's what I'm overly excited about. So awesome, dude. Ray of pure creator love to pour forth and fill you to overflowing. Which is interesting because perhaps the perception is that I'm overflowing, but I'm not overflowing. But that's not for anyone else to decide. It's not even for me to decide. It's for the creator to decide. And I am a creator, so I've literally been in tune with the creator. I've been in tune with the creator, like, and only the creator, like, for the past, like, I've not that it really matters, and I'm not bragging, but I've been, oh gosh, why am I even saying this? And I'm not bragging. That's the most important thing before I say it, because of course this is gonna heighten the energies and the flow of the law of ease and the law of grace, which is super awesome, which I'm super excited about. Creation, in terms of like what creation is and how like pertinent it is. Like, I've been this sounds absolutely ridiculous, but I've been in an individualized expression of the creator for like a solid year and a half. Like, well, it's the 10th month, excuse me. So, a year and 10 months. Literally just meditating, like nonstop meditating, and only, taking very good care of myself, and only paying attention to myself, and sort of like, what's the word? Claiming my soul, and then embodying my soul, and then letting my soul experience its own soul journey. And for a year and a half, I've been able to like only listen to me, and only take my own advice from what is within me, and only listen to my own experience that exists within me, and just to continue to be living. And then I got so brave that I was able to, which is another thing about the 9 Freedoms, which I'm super excited about, and I strongly encourage everyone to read those books. I haven't even read the books yet, but I've read little inserts and quotes that Dr. George King said, which I strongly encourage everyone to read, because I think it is very important, and anyway, I'm not going to explain any more than that, because it's already written and it's already in existence. But Mark Sector 6 has really good points. Has really, really good points. All the way since 1961. So it's really amazing. Mars Sector 6 is pretty awesome. And so is Dr. George King. Very, very awesome. But more specifically, the fun of music is getting more fun. That's what I'm super excited about. And that's kind of what allows what I think is called, that's what it's called, the Holy Experience. I'm going to read, I'm going to finish reading this. Yeah, Soul Song is, according to Archangel Michael, is my gift to humanity. My 13th ray is my gift to humanity. So it's a really cool gift. Really cool gift to humanity. So, yep, I already know it's possible. Believe it is possible. Believe that it is possible. It's important to believe. As cliche as that sounds, I'm just going to say... Yeah, joy is awesome. To live in joy and to be in joy is our birthright, and that's what the Creator wants, and that's kind of like the will of the Creator. That's like God's will. So there's no point in like even arguing against God's will. Not that anybody's arguing, and there's definitely no. And here's the important thing: if anyone is trying to divide and conquer, they're liars. They're liars. They're full of lies. If anyone's trying to divide and conquer, they're full of lies. And I especially am the one who can say that because I've been on an individual yoga journey for a very, very, very long time. A very long time, as a matter of fact. And I only refer to myself. I haven't been engaged in external reality at all. Well, I obviously have to eat because this, Anyway. I almost said something hilarious. I was going to say, this light body needs to have food. Which is hilarious. Anyway, that's the amazingness of love. I'm going to have a broadcast tomorrow morning about the rest of the broadcast that I talked about this morning a little bit. And it's going to be fun. Lots of love. Lots of love to Mira, to the Pleiadians, to the Arcturians. That's just what I say. That's what I've been saying for years. Lots of love. Just because love is the most powerful force that has ever been in existence. And consciousness and adoration. And so it is.